I 30M ended the relationship with my fiance 29F for secretly talking to my mother 60F behind my back. A little background for context, my mother had an affair with her old ex-boyfriend when I was 17. My dad 57M now found out about it and was destroyed. Dad immediately asked for divorce and both my older brother 35M now and I choose our dad and cut contact with her over what she did. She tried to talk to us many times but my brother ultimately told her she was not alive to us and told her to never talk to us again. My older brother was a rock during this moment. He took care of dad and me when my dad was depressed for months after that ordeal and for that he will always be my hero. He however had commitment issues due to this and became a womanizer mainly because he doesn't believe in relationships anymore. I emulated him during my college years but realized a stable married life is ultimately what I wanted and stopped my activities after college. I met my girlfriend Ruth, now ex-fiance when I joined my first job at 25 and she was working a floor under me for a different company. We used to chit-chat a bit when we come across each other and slowly started connecting more after work till we realized we had feelings. I asked her to be my girlfriend and that was one of the most happiest moment in my life. My dad found someone during my college years, a widow he met on a senior dating site and this woman turned my dad into the guy we knew and loved before his divorce. My brother is still the same although he dates now and then. I proposed to my girlfriend last year December and we agreed to get married once I officially finish my MBA so that I can get better prospects in my job or if I want to look for another job. Life was good till I noticed Ruth was talking to my mother in FB Messenger earlier this week when I was using her phone to take some pictures in our house. A message popped up and I don't know why but I opened it, saw it was my mother who was asking about me and liking some pictures she sent of me. Ruth knew about the history with my mother while we were dating and she always said she understood where I was coming from and she will support my decision to never talk to my mother ever again. Even my dad has stopped communicating with her when my brothers told him that we wanted nothing to do with her. After I scrolled the messages to see the date this started, it was when I proposed and my mother introducing herself to Ruth. I wanted to be angry but the hurt just made me numb. The message that set me off when Ruth was secretly seeing my mother behind my back and she promised to invite her to our wedding so that she can make us reconcile. Finally after collecting myself I took screenshots of it all and sent them to my phone in case she deleted them before telling Ruth I needed to go out. My brother was in town during the time I called him to see me at this bar we used to frequent. He was shocked but kept quiet most of the time when I told him and showed him the messages and eventually asked me what I wanted to do. I realized this betrayal stung me to the point it brought back memories of the divorce and how my mother hurt my dad so bad it affected even me. When my mother realized she was not going to get us back, she pulled a lot of dirty tricks to try and meet us even extent of feigning a medical condition. When that happened, my brother coldly told her whether she is alive or not, we would not care so stop with these charades. She tried to have a relationship with her old boyfriend after the divorce but his wife decided to give him a second chance and he chose his family. After a while she came out, realizing that she was bi and is in a relationship with another woman which I didn't bother to know much further. I came back home after my phone kept buzzing from Ruth and I told my brother to please come with me today so he can help me pack my stuff while I stay at his place. Ruth was surprised to see him and could tell something was wrong by how he was looking at her. I told her to tell me what she is hiding from me and she immediately understood what I was talking about. I was too numb to even argue when she started to cry and beg me not to leave. I told her I would like her to start packing her things while I am at my brother's place. The house I am staying is a gift from my father and that I can't be with someone who betrayed me like this. She confessed that she was only trying to help me mend my relationship with my mother because she really wanted her sons back but I told her that it was not her place. What ultimately set me off was when she said my dad was not a good guy either because he brought us down with his depression and manipulated us to hate our mother. My brother heard that and told her to watch her mouth and said she better tell my mom that she has successfully broke another relationship in her family and if our mother tries to speak with us after this, he will make both their lives a living hell. I am currently still staying at my brother's place and ignoring her calls and her family. My dad was devastated to hear about this and I didn't have the heart to tell him what Ruth thought about him because he came to see her as the daughter he never had. His girlfriend who have always treated my brother and me like her own children consoled me and told me she will always love us no matter what, which I really appreciated. Still I feel like a failure because this is a woman I have loved for years and wanted to marry, to build a life with, and now I have ended it because of my mother. My dad who have rarely raised his voice called my mother and gave a few choices of words according to my brother. I know I will move on from this but this has completely made me feel nothing for my mother. While back before this I had hatred for her in my heart, now it's just a hollow feeling of not even wanting anything to do with her for the rest of my life. Am I right for ending my relationship with Ruth because of this? Regardless what it is, my decision to not be with her anymore is absolute and I might take up my brother's offer to help me in his own way for some while now till I heal. Sorry for the long post, I just want to let it all out here. Relevant comments. Specific enough. People on the outside never understand conscious estrangement of mothers. It's wrong to meddle in your life like that, but I think a lot of people don't know how wrong that is. Op replied, I believe actions have consequences. When you do something that you know will ultimately hurt your loved ones, you need to prepare for a day they realize they don't want anything to do with you. I would have been more forgiving if she asked for a divorce to be with her AP the moment she realized she didn't want to be with my dad instead of cheating on him, but she acted like she loved my dad while living a lie. This was an affair for 3 years and none of us were the wiser about it till she got caught. If you can so effortlessly lie and not feel guilty for hurting your loved one like that, then you deserve when they want nothing to do with you. She made her bed and now she have to lie on it, and if she truly cared for us she would have respected my brothers and my decision to move on with our lives without her in it and not try to force herself on us. Mary Contrary 26. The relationship ended because Ruth was disloyal, manipulative, disrespectful and thinks she gets to decide what's good for you. As painful as it is right now, you just saved yourself years of misery. Edit. I have a friend whose husband wanted nothing to do with his parents. After they had children, she decided that her children had a right to a relationship with their grandparents regardless of how he felt. It ended the marriage, but she still has a relationship with his parents. Op replied, "First, I am sorry about your friend, I hope he is well now. As for Ruth, I don't think she was disloyal or manipulative, at least not the way I see it. I see it as her trying to do something that she thought was good in her head, but the way she wanted to do it was downright terrible. The messages I saw is how I interpreted it was my mother trying to play the victim card, and Ruth thought she had to make us reconcile for both our sakes, but since she knew beforehand how strongly I felt about my mother, I thought she would tell my mother F off the moment she got the first message. As much I am disappointed with Ruth, I ultimately see my mother as the ultimate reason why my relationship ended. If she even had an ounce of care for me, she would have respected my decision to not be part of her life anymore and move on from us as how my family did." Update. I 30M ended the relationship with my fiance 29F for secretly talking to my mother 60F behind my back. It's officially over, she have left the house. My mother have agreed to not reach out to me anymore. It's now 5 hours since she have left the house given to me by my dad, and I have just finished giving one of my dogs her liver medication. Got the message from Ruth on WhatsApp this morning that she is leaving the house today and would like to give me back the keys and her engagement ring by person. I headed back with my brother this afternoon back to my house, and she have almost finished packing. Some of her things she can't bring with her right now is kept in the garage, and she said that she will come by next week to take it once she settle in her sister's place. Her sister ignored me and went about moving her things, and my brother sat in the living room since she didn't want his help. Our dogs were quite quiet during this time minus the excitement once I came home. I could tell she cried a lot and was holding back certain pent-up emotions, but I felt it was best for me to just not show any emotions at this point to avoid any conflict. We talked in our room a bit and basically told me she hoped I would have given her a second chance, but realized she can't be someone who would agree with me on every decision I make, and this isn't a relationship she wants going forward either. I asked her if she really meant what she said about my dad, and she said no and was just angry at the moment and didn't mean it. She talked to him over the phone 3 days back to say her goodbyes and will miss him very much. A few more words were exchanged, mainly about our dog's custody, which she said she will come over once she settled so we can arrange custody for both of them. She can't take them now because her sister's place doesn't allow pets and she feel I needed them more at this moment. She then approached the biggest elephant in the room about my mother and told me that my mother have agreed to never reach out to both my brother and me anymore because she doesn't want to hurt us any further and have apologized for her part in this. Apparently my mother, after speaking to Ruth, have agreed she too needs to move on with her life away from us because she wants to do right for her current loved ones and only hope that my brother and I would come to her funeral if we want to. I choose to not respond to what was said and asked her if she needs any money for expenses in the meantime, but she refused. She apologized for doing what she did and asked if she could hug me one last time, which I obliged, and we ended up kissing for a bit. I wanted to cry the moment she held me, but I saw her tears first and held her in my arms for her to cry into me. Shortly I helped her with few more things into her car and she took off her engagement ring on her finger and gave it back to me. My brother cautiously approached Ruth and apologized for whatever he said that night, and she gave him a quick hug. Ruth's sister Anna was still crossed however and told me I made the biggest mistake letting her sister go, and I did not respond. I didn't want to watch her leave and headed back to my room to finally cry. I don't think I will update after this. The only thing we have left is the dogs, and I will be seeing her just to hand the dogs for her time with them. Once we arrange the custody timing of who will have the dogs when and she have found her own place, I will pay our dog sitter to handle the transportation since she usually drive our dogs to the dog park for their exercise when Ruth and I are at work. Thank you Reddit users who commented. I appreciate most of the comments in my previous post, and I wish everyone who comment all the best and be well, even the ones who disagreed with my decision and the ones who messaged me with nothing but insults. More comments. Holden Crawfish. IDK. Your choice dude. But your mom seems to have manipulated your fiance and you let her ruin another part of your life. But it's yours, and even though I think it's a dumb FK in choice. Good luck, and hopefully the mom you told to never talk to you again doesn't try to manipulate someone else you date. Op replied. My mom did her role in this, I agree. She ruined both of us, but I have thought long and hard and just came into the realization that Ruth and I are also incompatible. She wants to help people to do things that seems good in her head but would not think of long-term consequences. I am someone who will not budge from my decisions and will easily move on with life without the person who wronged me. I don't want her to change who she is, and I don't want her to change me. We both deserve different things in life. I won't be dating till I am ready, and most likely the person dating me will never be told about my mother. My mother have agreed to leave me alone and move on with her life. I am hoping she keeps her word this time. Knee proud. One day you will wake up being lonely and bitter when life has passed you by. Yes, your ex crossed a boundary. But it was mendable. You decided to end your relationship with your now ex. It appears that it was an excuse to end the relationship. Go and get therapy or you will always be haunted. If you really loved your ex, you have made your point to her. Swallow your pride and go after her. Show your ex-mother that she can't damage you anymore. Op replied. I doubt I will. There will be someone who accepts me for me and supports me, like how there will be someone who wants Ruth to help fix any issues he or she has. It was not an excuse to end the relationship because she knows the type of person I was when we dated. My reason now is that we far too different people in personality and outlook in life, and it's not fair for either of us to change for the other. I am not prideful, I am just someone who wants people to not change me. Am I a bad person for choosing to not let anyone who caused me hurt back in my life? I don't care if it's friend, family or partner, they need to know that I am not a person who gives second chances if they did something to betray me in any ways whatsoever or for any reason. I live my life with my own conviction and I am not gonna go back on myself for anyone. I love Ruth but she is not the one for me. My mother is going to be a distant memory, she has decided that she too doesn't want to keep trying anymore to connect with us, which is great step in her progress for us to be happy in our own lives.